Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to collect a Rover 25 that I bought for just £300. You know, thinking about it, nobody could ever accuse me of lacking variety on this channel. I recently filmed with a cheap Bentley Continental GT that I bought for just £5,000, and now we're going to collect this little turd from Longbridge. It should be quite good fun this, so I thought I'd bring you guys along for a run out. I always seem to land myself in hot water whenever I film with a Rover, which thankfully isn't all that often. The owners just seem to be very sensitive. I think it's probably their adenoids. I don't do it on purpose. It's never my goal to insult or offend. I'm just always honest. And in all honesty, Rover cars just aren't very good. Anyway, what I've bought today is a 2005 Rover 25 with a little 1.4 litre petrol engine. I mean, what could possibly go wrong with that little K-series engine? They were bulletproof, weren't they? Oh, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. They had all the durability of a wet paper bag. I haven't seen this car yet, but I know it's £300, it's quite low mileage, and it's a 1.4 petrol. That's pretty much all I know. I don't know whether it's a connoisseur or a contemporary or whatever Rover call them. I know what I call them, but yeah, probably can't say that on camera. One thing I do know though, and mark my words here, I'll have bought the wrong one. All the Rover fanboys in the comments will be, "Oh, you bought a Longbridge car. That isn't the one to buy. You should have bought a Cowley." It'll be all that sort of stuff. I guarantee it. Scroll down to the comments. You'll see. Last time I bought one of these cars, I paid just £75 for it and then quickly sold it for 100. So I think that basically makes me Sir Alan Sugar. Right, anyway, enough talking. Let's go and see it, shall we? Well, we're here. It actually looks... it looks as good as a Rover 25 can look. Why are we beeping? What are we close to? Overly sensitive parking sensors. Just like my overly sensitive Rover watchers. That must be one of the last of with that new grille. It's silver, but it's not really... It's more... Why are we beeping? Do anyone know? Oh, there we go. No idea. Back to the road. Oh, we've got leather interior and a tax disc holder. We've got original plates. A little bit of rust on the front wings. They're just dross, aren't they, these cars? They really are garbage. It's a 3-door. We've got alloys. We've got a nice big aerial. Oh, it gets even better. We've got a magic tree, new car scent, if I'm not mistaken. Should we check it out using Car Vertical then? Now, as always, it's really important that you do one of these checks before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. It's really easy to do. All you do is go to carvertical.com and type in the reg or the VIN. May as well turn the engine off. I forgot just how thirsty this car was. Right, so all you do is enter the VIN or the reg. Now, in this case, we know the reg is Foxtrot November 05 Yankee Victor Romeo. Check vehicle. Now, what this does, it checks database in 35 different countries. It isn't just a UK thing. So if it's had a prang in Poland or a slap in Slovenia, this will tell us. It doesn't take long, this, and it isn't expensive, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK, and you'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do. It isn't just a one-time thing. And what this will do is it'll tell us if it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has a standing finance on it. If it has been involved in a bump, sometimes it shows photographs of the damage, shows you the ownership changes, the average market price, the MOT history, the mileage, shows everything. It's a really thorough check. You know what, I actually quite like, here's a compliment for you, Rover fans, I quite like the longboat or whatever it is, the logo. It's quite interesting, isn't it? I suppose. That's about it, really. Oh, right, the report's ready. View report. So that is a Rover 25 petrol. Never been clocked, that's good. No outstanding finance, even better. No recorded accident damage, and it's only had 2 owners from new. Never been stolen either. Phew, that's a relief. The last known mileage was 42,000 miles. That was done in February last year. So it's got a very short MOT, this. I wonder if it'll pass another one, or if underneath it'll be as rotten as a pear. Anyway, the mileage is fairly consistent, that's good. It is very low mileage, this, really. It's, oh, it says colour gold. Told you it wasn't sort of like a standard silver. So it was first registered in March 2005, then it had an owner change in August 2012. Are there any advisory items on the last MOT? My guess is yes, lots, but we'll soon find out. Oh yeah, lots of corrosion here, lots of corrosion. Right, so in February last year, there was a minor advise for tyre underinflated near side front. Why wouldn't they just put some air in it? Then there were some more advisory items for near side front tyre worn close to legal limit on the edge, near side front service brake binding, offside rear suspension component mounting prescribed area is corroded but not considered excessive, and the same again for the near side, and rear tyre worn close on the edge. That's not the end of the world then, is it really? Right, should we go and look at this little beauty from Longbridge? It's a shame it's not a Cowley car, isn't it? Well, the first piece of good news is that we've got both sets of keys. This shows how dated the 25 was in 2005, doesn't it? We've got a separate fob, which is very 90s, and then an old sort of Honda style key, which says Rover on it. And for some reason, I don't know why, but it was always hinged there. Why would you need a key to sort of bend like that? Don't know. Unless the target audience was like Uri Geller or something. Anyway. Here we go. Look at it in all its glory. Quite a bit of crustiness here. Bit of rust all the way around the outside. Tyres then, we've got, someone's put part ones on these because I can see the chalk mark. We've got a Maxxis with 2 X's. On about 4 mil of tread, that's not too bad. Got a little Union flag there. Very nice. These windows pop out, that's good. What else can I tell you? It actually looks relatively tidy. Bit of scabbiness on the front arch there. This tyre is a King. Is that right? Never heard of it. That's on about 4 mil of tread, so that's not too bad. Headlamps are okay. It's got the original plates, so I don't need to change those. That's good. A little bit of a scuff here, a bit of scuffage. Some more scabbiness on the front wing. Panel gaps are atrocious, but it probably left the factory like that. Yeah, we've got a matching. Oh, a Mile King. Never heard of it. And they've made the M look like a road. It's clever, isn't it? Got a little Rover 25, little emblem here on the door. Tax disc holder, back when tax was affordable, £180 for 12 months from Cars Direct. Actually not an awful lot of rust on it, really. The rest of it's all right. Oh, hang on a minute, it gets worse down here. That's quite scabby, isn't it? Yeah, we're losing a bit here, aren't we? I think if you went around this with one of those little toffee hammers, wouldn't be much left, would there? On this side, oh, we've got another Mile King. Very good. On about 4 mil. Colour-coded handles, that's nice. Got the Rover badge spelled out there, like new Bentleys on the tailgate. Parking sensors. This was probably quite a high spec back in its time. Remote locking works. Right then, feast your eyes. We've got some more rust here on the sill. We've got a little frisbee here, which is good of Rover to include, just to keep you occupied while you're on the side of the road waiting for a recovery truck. Some sort of sheath. I'm not really sure what that's for. Got more speakers here than we can shake a stick at. Look at the craftsmanship you get at Rover at this time. Look at the exposed screw heads. You just don't get that on other brands, do you really? I wonder why they went bust. And you get all this quality for such an affordable price. Nice leather interior. It does smell quite clean, actually. Could do with a set of mats. We've got the electric mirror switch here, out of an old Range Rover Classic or a Morris Minor. Standard BL parts bin tat. We've got some nice little vents here with an adjustable bezel. Oh, look at the window switches. That's rubbish, isn't it? Who thought that was a good idea? I know, we'll put them where you might spill drinks on them. That's a good idea. Cup holders down there. That's nice. We've got air conditioning. That probably won't work, but we've got a button for air conditioning. That probably will have been used quite a lot, I imagine. We've got the steering wheel from a Freelander with a little horn there. It's quite nice. Radio controls down here, just like a Freelander. We've got the temp gauge, which is nice and low at the moment, but I expect that will rise probably to about there. You see that little red mark? Probably go about there. Got half a tank of fuel, that's good. Quality glove box. Now, owner's handbook, here we go. Okay, enough mocking. I'm actually a bit speechless here. We've got more Rover service history than I expected to see. So Lockwood and Greenwood were a Rover dealer till they went bust, and they continue to do all the servicing work. So it's all Lockwood and Greenwood. Look at this, full Rover history. It's 7, 9. Hang on a second. Let me start again. 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12. 12 again. 13, 14, 15, 16. Wonder if it's had a cam belt change. Sorry, it sounded like a Rover owner then, didn't it? I wonder if it's had a cam belt change. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. Someone's looked after this, haven't they? Really incredibly well. So much so they've run out of pages in the service book. Well, I'm quite impressed actually. I'm quite impressed. Quite impressed there. Owner's handbook here. Someone's written in the frequency there for Radio 2, which is handy. 88 to 91 FM, BBC Radio 2. Right, should we fire up? In fact, no, let's... That was the sound of quality, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't like glove compartments when they're too soft, too quiet. I like it to make a rattle. We've got the indicator stalks off. I feel a bit Honda-y, actually. Got a big, horrible gear lever, which... That's actually in gear. Look at the movement. That's in gear. That's neutral, just to be clear. That's in gear. Again, I hate gearboxes when they're too precise. I don't know why it's beeping. Oh, my lights are on, that's why. Clever feature, though. Let's have a look under here, then. Right. Are you ready to see some white gunk on top of the oil filler cap? Oh yes, 16 valve twin cam. Now, there's quite a bit of oil here around the rocker cover. Must need a new rocker cover gasket, I imagine. It's all quite straight under here. There's no signs of any accident damage. Okay. Let's bust this open then, shall we? Are you ready for this? Will there be any mayonnaise? You ready? There isn't any, actually. Usually when the head gasket is blown, and these K-series engines are prone for it, there'll be a load of white, gross-looking, what looks like Hellmann's mayonnaise. Other brands are available. On top of the oil filler cap. There isn't any. I think with that level of service records, actually, it might be. We might have got a good one. Maybe. Let's have a look in the boot. How do you open the boot on a Rover 25? Can we do it off the fob? Oh, look at that. This is quite a nice clean car, you know. No rust in the footwell. Not footwell, spare wheel well, should I say. No rust, it's all solid. That's all good. The quality floor, though, is sort of suffered with time, hasn't it? Right. Better start her up, hadn't we, I think? Okay, then. Are you ready? For some reason it's beeping there at me. Why is that beeping? It's done 43,000 miles. Half tank of fuel, that's all good. The unmistakable sound of a little K-series. Very tappy. That is the sound of the 90s, isn't it, that? We've got a battery warning light on. So we've got a dodgy alternator, or it could just be because it's a cold morning and the battery's old, decrepit. The radio's asking for a code, which might be in the book actually. So I can't even see what they were listening to. No CD in there. Well, that all works. That's pretty good. Central locking works. Hazard lights work. You know what, this is actually quite a clean car. I think it will all come down to whether or not it'll pass another MOT, won't it? My mirrors work, that's good. What about this side? Oh yes. What about me windows, me vinders? Well, that's alright. Both my windows work. Who'd have thought it? I mean, it sounds rubbish, but they always did, really. Suppose we better drive this, hadn't we? Right then, should we get this little Rover 25 out on the road? Let's do it. Get rid of that. Clutch is a bit bitey. Drives alright. The engine sounds tappety, but then they always do. Steering's a little bit on the heavy side, but then they always were. Clutch is a little bit snappy. It's fine, it's just a little bit... It's just poor quality. It's just a poor quality item, that's what we're in. Gearbox is terribly sloppy. That is in gear, that's terrible. Brakes work, that's good. Oh, it's all kicking off down here. We've got 3 police cars here and they've cornered a transit van. Wish I could film this for you now. I daren't get my phone out there while the police are there. That wouldn't be very good, would it? Well, to be fair, it looks like they've got bigger fish to fry. Anyway, back to the Rover. My heater works, that's good, so I don't think my head gasket's blown. When your head gasket's blown, you tend to not get hot air through the vents. It's all right, this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. The service history is excellent, so sounds like I'm being cheap, but I probably wouldn't even bother servicing it. It had one like hundreds of miles ago, so I probably wouldn't bother servicing it. I think we just need to get it through an MOT. If we can get it through an MOT quite cleanly, quite cheaply, then we've got a car with an MOT, basically. I still don't know what I'm going to do with it at that point, but it's not... I know I've ripped into it, but it's not too bad, is it, really? I've mostly ripped into the poor quality of them, not the condition of this one. The condition of this one's actually all right. We've got what looks like an abandoned transit van there, with 2 cops looking around it. Nobody's going to let me go. I'm going to be here all my life. Right, now we're on the move. Now we're on the move. There we go. Well, she pulls. Not sure what horsepower this will be. Maybe from 1.4. What do you think? 70 or something? That gearbox is laughably. It's comically bad, that. My battery light's still on. Could do with a good old clean, but it actually pulls quite well. It's not pulling to the left or the right. It's sort of right down the centre. The steering's true. So we need the radio code, which I think is probably in the handbook there. If they've bothered to write down the frequency for radio 2, chances are they've probably they've written down the radio code somewhere. Everything works. You know, when I was offered this car for just 300 quid, I thought, well, if it turns out to be a lemon, I could just scrap it. Call J Davidson, my local scrap dealer, and get 220 back for it. It's not the end of the world. But I think it's a little bit better than that. I think there's some life left in this. Need to reattach the little frisbee, don't we, to the speaker. Tom Casola, Syndicate. What else can I tell you about it? I think, you know, with this level of service history, it should pass an MOT, shouldn't it? I hate to speak too soon, but if someone's looked after it like that, if it's had a service every single... Nearly stalled it then. If it's had a service every single year of its life, when it's only done like 1,000 miles, chances are it should pass another MOT, shouldn't it? I think what I'll do then, because it does drive all right, I think I'll just take it straight down to my mechanics. Drop it off with them, see if it'll pass an MOT, and then I'll report back to you guys with the good or bad news. I think that's probably what I should do. Get them to charge the battery as well. I'll leave it on charge overnight, see if the battery light goes off. I don't want to start chucking alternators on this whole thing. But yeah, I've bought worse, haven't I, on this channel? Definitely bought worse. My temp gauge is still nice and low, hasn't pinged right up. When these came out, you know, back in, I don't know when it was, they used to be called the Rover 200 and then they rebadged it. Was it like 97 maybe, I think? Yeah, anyway, when they came out in the late 90s, they were up against I guess the Fiesta, the Punto. And I suppose back then, they were probably all right-ish to a point. The trouble is now, 20 years on, I'm judging this through 2025 lenses, which probably isn't fair, is it really? But still, it's funny that way. Right, leave this with me then. I'll have an update for you very soon. Cheers, guys.
A few moments later.
Well, it was all going so well. I've just pulled over here halfway to my mechanics to take my GoPro off the bonnet before it flew off. I've got back in the car and we're broken down, guys. It won't start. All we're getting here is a clicking noise. Listen to this. Cheers, Rover, for ruining my day. There's such garbage, these cars. Do you know how many times this has happened to me? Sat on the side of the road, staring at the longboat emblem. Absolute dross. I'm not even on a hill. Can't even roll the crock. Right, I'm gonna have to walk back to the garage now then, get my booster pack and try and fire this lemon into life. Wish me luck. And we're back in my little Rover 25. And when we last spoke, I was having a breakdown. In fact, it happened right there. My car left me stranded as well. Instead of driving this barefoot to Dundee whilst eating a Toblerone, I took it to my mechanic instead. I towed it down there, thinking it could be the alternator. Anyway, because I've done this job for a miserable number of years, I was right. It was indeed the alternator. My mechanic got it going again. She put a new battery on it and a new alternator, and that was that. While it was down there, I said, could you check the levels? Because I didn't want to spend too much money on this, really. I knew it had been over-serviced. I always preach that you should look after your car and it will look after you. But I think in the case of this little Rover, somebody's cared for it a little too much. Way more than it deserves, in my opinion. But anyway, it was over-serviced, so I didn't bother doing that. Instead, I just asked for a fresh MOT. I thought if I could get this car roadworthy, then somebody would have a half-decent car for the next 12 months or so. My mechanic called me once the battery and alternator were fitted to say, right, it's running fine now, it starts fine, it's holding its charge, but, big but, it needs a little bit of welding for its MOT, particularly on the sills. The sills didn't need replacing completely, they were still fairly intact, they just need a little bit of welding really, otherwise it would fail its MOT. So I had that done, and it's now got 12 months MOT on it. So, yeah, that's about it really. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm not a Rover fan. Let's be clear about that. I really don't like them. The build quality is poor and I'm just not a fan. So I thought, rather than end today's episode on a depressing note where I talk about how much I've spent on it, I have kind of massively overspent on this, I thought I'd do something positive instead. So what I've decided to do with this little Rover is give it away. Give it to one, I was going to say lucky, but I'm not sure that's the right word. I'm going to give this away to one viewer. Totally for free, no strings attached, 100% gratis, FOC. I thought that way I've turned something quite negative into something positive. You know, many years ago I used to have a golf coach, an American guy, and he used to say that all the time. Can't remember his name now. He used to say, you gotta turn a negative into a positive, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn a negative into a positive. I'm sure somebody out there could benefit from a half-decent car, really. I mean, don't forget, it's only done 43,000 miles. I've got leather, or, you know, leatherette seats. It's all right. We've got a CD player, air conditioning, although I'm not sure that works. Electric windows, electric mirrors. The indicator stalks from a Honda. It's not all bad, really. And it's decent, you know, it's decent transport, isn't it, for somebody? I'd rather this than a bus pass. Yeah, no, I would. All you've got to do then to be in with a chance of winning this car is make sure you're subscribed. That's the big one. Did you know, I was looking at the analytics of this channel and 60%, a whopping 60% of regular viewers aren't subscribed to it. So that's the first thing you've got to do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'd really like to get to 500,000. We're not too far away, to be honest, so make sure you subscribe. That's the first thing. Secondly, what you've got to do is comment in capital letters below, win. Whiskey, India, or Indigo, I can't remember, November, win. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you comment win below, and somebody will be selected at random next week. What should we say? Well, 7 days from now, so the 19th, I'll announce the winner. The winner will be selected at random, and then we'll get in touch and you can come over to the garage and collect it. Totally for free. There you go. In case you're wondering, the bill at my mechanics was £380, which I didn't think was too bad, really. Alternator, battery, and some welding and an MOT. So, yeah, it's all right, really. We've got 2 keys. Really trying to sell it to you here, aren't I? I don't need to, it's for free. So yeah, subscribe, comment, win, and I'll select one of you at random. That's about it then, guys, really, isn't it? So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, I'll see you next time.